You just recently had an opportunity to review the audio of the confrontation between the lead superintendent and Sabrina Rose, and then you got an opportunity to look at her contract after we obtained that. What do you think of the whole situation?
Yes, I have listened to the audio, read the contract. It's regrettable that it was handled in that situation by Mr. Mower. And you know, and I've read the contract, and Miss Rose is an employee of the school. But she also has parental rights. And you know, and I'm just wondering what's leading to all this. That's what bothers me the most.
So, Mr. Kile, obviously neither party under the terms of that contract can discuss it, but we can look at the contract itself and see, you know, that Ms. Rose is getting almost $50,000 until, you know, March of 2013. But apparently it's the superintendent's interpretation of the contract that she can't be at the schools. Does that seem odd to you?
Throws up a red flag to me. I mean, you know, if he don't want her at the school, then the contract stated she gets sick days, vacation, personal days. And if you're not at school, how do you get paid for those days? So that would indicate that she is supposed to be at the school, to me, you know, because I've worked in public life, and to be sick, you got to be there. To be taking vacation, you got to be there. If you're not there, how come you're getting those? It just throws up a red flag, like there's something that they can't discuss on this.
So, Mr. Kile, there was a recent Board of Education meeting where the public was allowed to speak, and they spoke about a lot of concerns they had with the school system. Do you think the board addressed all those concerns in a way that satisfied the public?
You know, I didn't get to go. I was sick. I've been fighting this sinus for a month problem. I've been out of town. I did not get to go. I looked at the video and the audio of the meeting. I don't think they addressed anything that night. They just gave the people rights to speak to them in front of them. Answer questions? No, they didn't. I have friends on that board. You know, in this small town, you're gonna know everybody. I think that was a way to appease the people at the moment. I want to see them come out and be more open with the public. They've got a long way to go before they can fulfill the bill of a school board for every citizen in this town.
So in light of that, Mr. Kile, what do you think the board could do to be more open to the public and to address their concerns?
Take control of our school board back over again. I have read, I guess, criteria to being put on the agenda for the school board, and it has to be approved by the superintendent. That's not the superintendent's meeting, it's the school board's, and they ought to be the one that sets the criteria for that. They should be able to, you know, we're held accountable as city council members every council meeting, because at the end of the meeting we give you a right to come up and address us. Given your name and address, you can address us on any matter that we deal with. And I think they ought to be the same way, be accountable.
So, Mr. Kile, you think it would be more effective if people could speak to the board at their meetings instead of, say, calling them individually?
Yes, I think the reason you do that is because you're also notifying the other board members of your concerns. And that would get 5 people, 6 people on board with your concerns. If you do it individually like a phone call, then there's a possibility that they might not remember the phone call, you know, and this is just hypothetical. And you know, and they might not get the gist of things, but you need to have some kind of source of knowing what's going on. Everybody does it. If you hear it from this parent or whoever that's telling you in front of the school board, y'all all will know what's going on. And you know, it's hard to really say, but I mean, I would rather people come, and I answer the phone call a lot at home. But I also rather people come to City Hall where they can get our ideas and input on what's going on in their life.
Mr. Kile, we've had some people complain, you know, every time a negative story pops up about Leeds, you know, it's making Leeds look bad. What do you think about that?
I've been in law enforcement for 35 years. Had a lot of things I've had to take care of. We can think back to 6 months ago when everything broke at Penn State and Joe Paterno. If they would have covered that, if they had took care of that problem when it first arose, they wouldn't have had the bad publicity as they have now. My feelings are, if you confront your problems at that point in time, then get rid of them. It's regrettable that it happens, but if you don't get rid of it and get it taken care of at that time, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt. It always has, because you look at Watergate, you look at everything. The media is everywhere, with phones, with instant messaging and everything. So it's going to get you. So you've got to be up board, and you've got to take care of everything right then it comes to you. You don't push it off. You've got to go for it.
One of the hot button issues when you were elected 4 years back, Mr. Kile, was an elected school board, and that just recently cropped up again at the Board of Education meeting we just talked about and at last night's Leeds Council meeting. What are your thoughts on an elected school board versus, say, appointed?
Well, you know, let me tell you, 4 years ago, I had all these people coming up to me wanting elected school board, and I still think elected school board is the way to go. It gives you, your cousins, everybody in the city of Leeds a right to vote on somebody if they want in the school board. 4 years ago, I had some people coming up to me and begging for elected school board, just begging, oh please, you got to have a school board. And some of those people even got put on the school board and then left within a month or two. But you know what? The people in last night's council meeting was talking about, well, it takes 2 years to be able to get elected school board. Well, you know, and they're probably right, it's going to take a while to get there. But you know, these people that we're dealing with right now that's got concerns at the high school are probably going to be gone. But there's other people coming through. So the ones, you know, it's always going to be revolving every 4 to 5 years, different parents, different folks, different problems. So are we going to go through this every 2 to 3 years? You know, we need to decide what we're going to do, and as a city, do it. Don't sit back and rumble about what's going on. You got this bunch here that tries to run everything. You got this bunch here that wants to come to the board meetings and complain. And then you got so many individual groups out there, it's hard to tell. So we need some kind of poll to judge where we need to go. And I don't have a problem with the school board. I mean, anybody that does, and I see that they have some personal gain if they don't want to elect a school board.
Mr. Kile, thanks for being with us. We want to give you a final opportunity to say anything you've got on your mind about all these issues.
Well, our issues seem like they're not that many, but they're severe, in my opinion, enough that we have inappropriate relationships has been supposedly brought forward. The way we treat employees of the school. You know, we got to understand, this is one city, one town, whatever you want to call it. We've got to get our stuff together, because we don't own this town. I don't, nobody does. It's the community's town, and we're so divided that sometimes I think, how's this going to make it? I mean, we've got to worry about the kids in this community that we got to provide an education for. It ain't about Keith Etheridge. It's not about John Moore. It's not about Sabrina Rose. It's about the children that attend our school every day. And that's where it's all about, is our future, is our children.